Hi, my name's Justin, G0KSC. I'm a radio ham, and I've just set myself up a YouTube channel giving a bunch of information to radio hams on different subjects. And basically I needed to get a decent camera and a decent setup all around in order to make the viewing experience as good as possible. Now this camera, it's a Tecknet 1080p camera, which I've had for a while. But I guess that there'll probably be some others out there that might be a little bit better for whatever reason. Now this one's got a manual focus, which is not a bad thing, it works okay. But I bought another one which is a 30 frames per second camera, the same as this one, which is a Papalook. And this one has got an autofocus on it as well. So I wanted to see how that compared with this one. Then also two more cameras which are 60 frames per second. There's a Vitade which is a H682 and that has a manual focus as well, but 60 frames per second. And then a Nexigo which is the model 660p, and that's a 60 frames per second and autofocus. So I think this is probably long enough on the Tecknet. Let's switch over to the Papalook and have a look how that performs. Okay, this is the Papalook AF925, and it's interesting actually because there's a number of different things which for me tell you something about a product. One of those is I've connected all these cameras to the PC at the same time, all in different sockets on a USB socket, or USB 3 socket on the back of the PC. And when I'm recording, I'm using Camtasia to record the videos here. And you can select in there which camera you're going to use and which microphone. Now with the Tecknet, that comes up and says HD 1080p USB camera. Now a lot of cameras are 1080p, but that is the unimaginative model number of that. So you kind of got a good idea as to which camera it is that you're selecting. In Windows, the Papalook just comes up as USB camera, no other information whatsoever. The Nexigo gives its full name and model number without any issues, and that's a similar situation as well with the Vitade. So I just thought it was a bit odd that that wouldn't be here, or it wouldn't have more information on the display. What it does have though is when you look up here online, they've got a reasonable website, and with the generic OEM type of cameras, sometimes you can get an indication of the type of support you'll have and how good it will be later on if you need any help, or if there's a driver's problem in Windows, from how they're presented on the website and how it looks. Now this is a cloned camera through a lot of different companies with different badges and different names, but it has a number of useful features. It has the screw base, so you can put that onto a tripod if you need to. And one kind of nice bonus is when you select this camera, you get a little blue glow, light either side of the outer edges of the camera to let you know that it's in use. So that's kind of nice, and that isn't something that's on the other cameras. The cabling on this, like the Tecknet, is around 1.5 meters long, and it is filtered, so that's a bonus too. This is on the internal audio. Looking at the audio levels, it looks very similar to the Tecknet as well, and you can see from the website, it looks it's a reasonable priced camera. It says $99 there. I think this was about £70 on Amazon, so it's one of the top end prices that you can expect to have, but we'll see what it sounds like. I haven't played this back yet, so let's stop this one here and we'll compare. Okay, so this is now on the Nexigo, the first of the 60 frames per second cameras, and I'm seeing all these for the first time as you are, if you like, seeing the first set of videos that they produce. And this one does actually have a light. It wasn't or it's not visible or easily seen on the front until it's illuminated, but now the camera is live. It has a single blue light that's shining up from behind, so that you know it is active. It also has a slide across manual cover, so you can cover the lens, and it has stereo microphones. It's got one either side of the microphone. Just in the very small viewing frame that I can see here, the quality seems to be very good. Maybe compared to the others, I need to see it a little bit larger on playback, but the audio seemed to be down. I've had to turn the audio gain up on this one because on initial tests at the beginning, just listening to my voice, it was a notable amount quieter, even though it's perched on the top of the screen as the other two are. It was notably quieter than those. So that's been turned up in order to be able to see that. Like the others, and I've looked at the 682 as well, which is going to be the next camera, they will have around 1.5 meters of cable, and they will have the ferrite filter at the end there to stop any noise being picked up on the signals as well. Just a note on that we were talking about earlier on with regards to the price of the Papalook. I didn't mention earlier the price of the Tecknet. That's around £41 at the moment, UK pounds, on Amazon. That particular one isn't there, not with that brand name, but there are other ones that look exactly the same, just with a different name, even the name written in the same font, but it's a different brand. So it's another generic camera. I'm looking forward to seeing this one and seeing how it is, because one of the things that I did notice on the Papalook is you could see as I was moving around and speaking that it was continually refocusing, and you could see the background moving, going in and out of focus as it was hunting around. And that's perhaps a benefit of the manual focus. Being able to set that up initially, you know, it's a few twists of the fingers, but it's not a great deal to do, especially if you're sitting in the same position all the time. And it may get annoying for viewers if it's continually refocusing and moving, trying to hunt around and get on focus, and seeing the background moving backwards and forwards as well. So it'll be interesting to see if this one does the same. So we'll close this one here and go over to the manual focus Vitade 60 frames per second and see how that one is. Okay, so we're now on the Vitade. This is the 60 frames per second with the manual zoom. Now what I've noticed on this one is the sound level's gone down again, so it's having to go up even more in order to pick up the same level of audio as I did on the Nexigo and the previous cameras. The next thing on this is, as with the others, it also has a live light. This time it's a red light, which is a little bit more intrusive, I guess, than the blue. If you catch it in the right light, it's like a laser, and it's very bright in the eyes. So probably the wrong selection of bulb or LED to put into a camera that's going to be facing somebody all the time, because I understand that the light is not going to be on all the time. It's only while the camera is in use. But if you're using it for a webinar or for a Zoom meeting or something, so you're looking at the camera as I am, as I'm moving my head around, I'm getting the sharpness of this sort of laser light, which is, it's not painful, but it's not comfortable on the eye to have that there. The next thing was with the first impressions on looking on the screen. On Camtasia, when you're doing a recording, you get the little dialog box down in the bottom, and you can see a small frame as to how you look in the picture. And if you put the mouse over it, it makes it a little larger, so you can just make sure that you're in the center of the screen, and if it's a manual focus like this one is, you can make the adjustments. It appears, and I'll see it in the playback, that I seem further set back, as if the overall resolution is much less than what it should be, in order that, whereas all three cameras previous to this one I'd been at the same distance, I seem further away in this camera. That may not be the case when I do the playback, but that's how it appeared. But just referring back to the Nexigo, having seen that, and the playback quality compared to the others, I thought it was excellent. The audio was the best that I'd heard so far. The picture quality was absolutely fantastic. I've perhaps not seen it as high a quality as it would do, and maybe you won't either, because the snag that I had is when I put that into Camtasia to view it, it said, do you want to switch to 60 frames per second, which will upset the whole project, and then the other camera imports wouldn't work. So I've had to keep it at 30 frames per second even to import it into Camtasia. So that means that it won't necessarily be as good as it possibly could be. The best part of it for me is that it is an autofocus, that Nexigo. It seemed to stay in focus. It didn't seem to alter in any way, shape or form that I could see, and it was a very good level of focus as well. So coming back to the one that we're viewing now, which is the Vitade, with the manual focus, it will be really interesting to see if the quality of the picture holds up and makes up for this rather annoying LED that I've got burying into the back of my head right now, and also to see if I am appearing to be further than away than what I actually am, or than what I actually should do, compared with the other cameras. So that's it. Let's put it on to clear this one and have a look and see how it performs. Okay, I'm on the Vitade H682 as I was just now, and one of the comments I'd mentioned was that it appeared as if I was further set back than what I was perhaps on the other cameras. But I think the default setting on that was a much wider screen display. So now I've altered it back, or altered it I should say, to the kind of levels that the rest of the cameras were set on by default. So we'll have a look at that and see how it performs. Generally it wasn't quite as focused as I thought it was when I played back the original, so I've adjusted again to see if it's any better. But to be perfectly honest, if the autofocus is as good as the Nexigo was, then I think that's probably the way that I'd go, an autofocus like the Nexigo, as long as it was going to be that kind of level of quality in what it's able to produce. So certainly for me it seems as if the Nexigo autofocus 60 frames per second is the one, but let's see how this one performs now. Okay, so this is now back onto the Nexigo, and certainly what appears to be, for me, the out and out winner. Not on the audio or the microphone of the Nexigo now. I'm on my preferred microphone, or boom microphone, which is connected to the PC in a different way via the normal microphone socket. But certainly when you look at the picture quality here, it's much brighter. It's clearer. Okay, we do have a lot of strong light above, I understand that, but I didn't want to change the lighting. I wanted to have normal room lighting here, so the cameras were on not just a level playing field, but they was in a normal working environment that you would have in any home without any dedicated camera lighting. So for me, this is without doubt the best. I was expecting to have the manual focused cameras to come out on top, and I guess in part because I'd seen some of the reviews mentioning the hunting that we saw around on the Papalook, and that becoming annoying after a period of time, or especially if you're recording YouTube videos, where this one just doesn't seem to have that issue. And as well as that, the focus, or the levels of focus, are extremely good, and with the brightness and contrast levels that this has, I think it's without doubt going to be the one. I'll put on here just the pricing. I'll verify the pricing and put at the end here, just in a few seconds time, the basic specifications and costs, and then of course you can make your own decisions there from the audio, which was all on each of the individual cameras, and then also the picture qualities too. But certainly I'm surprised. The autofocus does seem to be the king of the castle in this case. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.